What is up, Ravens flock? Huge shout out for your support for the 410 Sports Talk. James and Glenn are the best in the business. They're killing it right now. They love talking Raven talk. Make sure you go subscribe to their channel. Let's go Ravens. Big trust.
Welcome in everyone to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm Glenn Martin here with my co-host James Haskell and of course DK in the background. In this episode, we're going to talk about a topic that certainly has one group of fans on one side of the aisle and another on the opposite side, and that is the report coming out today that the Baltimore Ravens and head coach John Harbaugh are nearing an extension because, of course, he is in his final. He's heading into his final season under his current contract, and so it looks as if the team and head coach are nearing an extension that will further, would lengthen his tenure here in Baltimore. So, Jimmy, what was your thoughts when you heard that news come out? Was it a surprise? Was it happy? Disappointed? What's your take?
Overall, I mean, I'm happy. I think it's good that John is here, and we've been big proponents. And I mean, I really like John Harbaugh. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a great leader of men. I will say this though, if I'm not mistaken, and I saw this, and I saw a tweet, and sorry if I'm not giving you the credit. Somebody mentioned that after we extended Billick, I think we fired him the next year. So correct me if I'm wrong, DK, if you find that information, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Anyway, I just thought that was an interesting tidbit because who knows, right? Like while an extension happens, that you never really know when you're off the hot seat at the end of the day, right? It's about what have you done for me lately? But John specifically, I'm happy about it. And I'm sure we'll go through, and I'm sure you have some stats like pulled up about how successful John has been and stuff like that. Like John is great. He is a tone setter. He's a culture builder. He's a great recruiter of coaches. I think he's had some of the best coaching staffs compiled throughout his history here in Baltimore. Had some of the greatest playoff runs, greatest playoff wins. This is starting to be my only concern, Glenn. Every once in a while, I think about this when it comes to John Harbaugh. After the proverbial old guard was completely gone, like gone.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've gone to the, we've had 3 playoff games since then. No, 2 playoff games since then, right? Like the 19, no, 3, right?
At least
the Chargers, the Titans,
and the Bills.
Okay, so 4, and we've won 1 of them. Is my math right there? We're 1-3. We've had, yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, I know people that are concerned about his recent success. And I think that it's fair. Like, it's fair to say, okay, well, what have you done for me lately type thing. Nonetheless, my thoughts on John Harbaugh are that I want him here in Baltimore, and we would be hard pressed to find a better coach out there in the market, even though Sean Payton just said bye to the Saints. I don't know if I'd be against that one. Yeah. Could you imagine Sean Payton and Lamar Jackson? Just the creativity there. I
see that, but I'll take John.
Fair enough. All right. Explain yourself, sir.
Yeah, I'll take John. I think the big thing that fans have to remember is that no matter who is the head coach, it's likely, look at that. I mean, it's likely that no matter who the head coach is, you're going to have moments where you want to criticize and you disagree with his tactics and decision making. And I certainly have those, when I watch the Ravens as well. But the thing with me is, do the Ravens look like they're, does the team look like they're prepared and playing hard, performing for their coach, and every single week the team looks like it's ready to play. It plays hard. Now, are there moments where strategically, a defense or an offense has a game where they look like they have our number? Of course. And but that can be said around every team around the entire league that, this game, wow, that they look really like they got out coached there from a strategic standpoint. So I look at what he's done here as his successes, and I go, wow, he's 148-96 in his career here in 14 seasons. That's 5th best winning percentage among all active coaches with at least 90 games coached under their belt. So 148-96, how many teams out there would take that over a 14-year stretch? I think you'd find a lot. Then I look at the playoff success because I think you got that's really where the legends are born when it comes to coaching. There are 2 coaches in the entire league right now, 2 coaches that have more playoff wins than Coach Harbaugh. And of course, Bill Belichick should come as no surprise, leads the way with 31 playoff wins in his coaching career. And then behind him is Andy Reid at 19. And then behind him, as far as active coaches, is John Harbaugh at 11. So it's hard for me to look around the league and go, who would I rather have as a coach? And then you talked about Sean Payton. Well, Sean Payton was there for what, 15 years?
Mm-hmm.
And John's been here how long?
14.
14. Sean Payton has 2 less playoff wins than he does. And that's with Drew Brees as your quarterback, who had virtually every passing record when he retired. So it's like, yeah, Sean Payton is a name, but has he done more than what John Harbaugh's done? And you can't, people go, well, it's the old guard. Well, this guy had Drew Brees in the most important position of all team sports. He had Drew Brees.
Yeah.
And he's got 1 title to show for it in all those years he was there. So, and he's got 9 playoff wins. And
right.
So it's just, to me, John has not showed me anything to where I would want to get rid of him. He's shown flexibility. He went from Joe Flacco, who is a statue in the pocket, a prototypical pocket passer, to the opposite end of the spectrum with Lamar Jackson, and totally rebuilt the coaching staff and the roster around his star player. So he's shown me flexibility. He's shown me leadership. I mean, that's what you want from your head coach. You want a head coach that can mold his team around this personnel and not be so stubborn that he tries to shoehorn his players into a system that they don't really fit. And he's shown leadership in that he always has his guys ready to play. They're ready to run through a wall for him. He never seems like he loses the team, no matter what the skid or scenario is surrounding the team. And he has a great relationship right now with Lamar Jackson. So, and right now it looks like he's definitely going to be our franchise quarterback going forward. So I love it. And let me just say one more thing, because I know I'm talking a lot.
That's all right.
If you're hiring a new defensive coordinator, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I might like to see there's some stability above me, because as we just saw in Jacksonville, here our linebacker coach, who was our defensive coordinator in waiting, takes the job and to take over DC in Jacksonville because he sees, well, there's a new coach there. I at least got a couple years to build something. Now he's gone. So if I'm a DC, I want to see a little bit more years on John Harbaugh's contract before I sign on the dotted line. And if I know he's going into his last year, man, that's not a lot of stability for me, because I know if head coach is gone, the new coach ain't keeping me.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing for the potential hiring of the next DC as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure John is throwing notes into Eric's backyard with that crumpled up, just as reminders, right? Like, hey, don't forget, but yeah, it's not that I disagree with you. My only thing is sometimes you wonder, right? Like what a dynamic offensive coach would look like with Lamar Jackson, because he's such a dynamic player, right? Like I sometimes often wonder, like these young guys, of course, are the with the recent playoff run with McVay and exactly. So you got all these young guys in the league, and you think, man, not that they have to be young, but my point is, think about Andy Reid with Lamar Jackson,
Mike Shanahan. I
mean, geez whiz.
What's his name? Shanahan, the young one.
Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle
there
Shanahan.
You go. He doesn't. He's aging pretty quickly. Kyle.
Yeah, he's getting pretty salt and pepper.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it.
My point is that sometimes you wonder, right? I think that's natural, right?
Yeah, of course.
But at the end of the day, I agree with you. I think that John has done more than enough to be here now. And I want him here. And like I said, it'd be very hard pressed to find a better coach. Now, this is a question I have. Do you think Lamar reads into any of the fact that they're locking up their coach before they're locking up their franchise quarterback? Is he thinking like, okay, I see where your priorities are?
Well, I mean, I guess I could see your point, but let's be honest, it's far easier to navigate an extension for John than it will be, because there's so
well, Lamar's is easy too. Just maybe the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Like,
I guess
that's simple, right?
I guess it could be just that simple. It certainly could, but I mean, John Harbaugh's been here for a longer time. There's already a relationship with his representatives, and
he has a representative.
Yeah, that certainly makes a difference. A representative that's already negotiated initial contracts as well as multiple contract extensions. But I see your point that maybe
It just was a thought that I
a
had.
quarterback who's more self-involved or more, I could see a quarterback who has more arrogance, I guess, to him.
Sure.
I don't think that's the case for Lamar Jackson. I think he'd be like, good for coach. I think he'd be happy for coach and be happy that knowing, because he's expecting to stay here as well. Lamar Jackson tweeted out a purple devil emoji. He didn't just any emoji. He did a purple one, right?
Right. Well, and then the other thing too, you could turn that on its head if you're Eric DeCosta. Now I'm thinking about it. If Lamar wants John here, Lamar could say, Eric, like, I need to know that my guy is here. And Eric's like, well, here's another piece of stability that you have, and your
guy's not going anywhere. Now, I will say this, Jimbo. What about the fact that fans say, look, the only way you're ever going to get an offensive genius to run
is to make him your head coach?
Because if he has success, he's going to be gone. But my only thing is, how many of those offensive geniuses turn out to be great leaders and great coaches? It's not many. I mean, there's a couple.
At Andy Reid.
Well, I mean, I guess McVay, you got to give him credit where it's due.
Sure, I mean,
and Zach Taylor certainly had a big boom this year, but look at his.
But none of them started as head coaches. Why can't we find? We can find one of those.
Yeah,
right?
let us have a great young-minded offensive coordinator, and let him have all the success he wants, and parlay that into a head coaching job elsewhere, because that means he was damn successful when he was here.
Exactly. I mean, I understand everyone's points, but it's not like, Rome wasn't built in a day. While they're young, right? Like, it's not that they came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to be somebody's coordinator. I don't know any of these guys that weren't coordinators, right? Like, as much as they might have had connections and their grandfather or their dad or whoever, they were all coordinators and paid their dues in some way, shape, or form. So let us get one of those. And look, I said it, and we've said it before. I've said it multiple times. John is a great recruiter of coaches. You cannot deny that based on the staff that he's put together year in and year out for years now. John has had a solid, not one of the best staffs in the NFL. And I think that is undeniable and has to do with his ability to recruit, which he learned from birth from his dad. Like, his dad, his brother, he's been in the recruiting game forever and he's seen it. So that's just another value you get from John Harbaugh. So I'm excited overall. I absolutely agree with you, Glenn, but I do understand people's at least like trepidation and wonder to like,
it's hard to be good every year. It's super hard. I mean, when you look around, there's only a few teams that every year are competing for playoffs and championships.
Yep.
People look at the Chiefs like they're the gold standard. How many years did they have where they were completely irrelevant?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it happens. Yeah. So it's tough to grade John on this crazy scale. Well, he hasn't had many playoff wins as of late. Well, what team has? I mean, you take away the Patriots, who are an exception to the rule. And even now, since Tom Brady's gone, how many playoff wins do they have since Tom Brady's left?
Yeah.
0. So it's just it's hard to get playoff wins, and I'm not willing to just throw away a great coach in hopes that the grass is greener with the next guy, which I think is high hopes.
I hear you, and I tend to agree with you as well, but I can't knock anyone for at least like thinking about it. But I agree with you 100%. But let us know what you guys think. Leave your comments below. Make sure to take a second, hit the subscribe button, give us a like, and we will talk to you guys soon.